Hi, George here. And what I'd like to do today is give you an introduction into mechanical ventilators. What's a mechanical ventilator? Well, the textbook definition of a mechanical ventilator is a device that provides for the cyclic movement of air into and out of the patient's lungs. Now that's been a definition that's been around for quite a few decades already. I think Mushin coined it in the 1950s or 1960s because that's when ventilation really started to take off from a historical perspective. Anyways, what we can kind of look at a ventilator being today, and what it has been over the last number of years, is simply a machine or a mechanical device that takes control or takes over the patient's breathing when the patient's no longer capable of breathing themselves. So from a life support perspective, you could say that the ventilator is looking after the patient's breathing when the patient requires life support. So in terms of life support in the intensive care units, this is the ventilation aspect of life support. So what are some of the main components that you'll see on your ventilators? Well, most of the ventilators, and it doesn't matter which brand it is, and this video is not a promotion for any ventilator manufacturer or ventilator company or any specific model of ventilator. It's just simply a video to show you the main components of a ventilator, but they're typically going to be the same on the different ventilators produced by the different companies. There might be some slight differences, but generally the main components are the same in how they function and how they get the gas to the patient, and then from the patient, does it go back to the ventilator or does it just simply vent into the atmosphere? So for that part, for the component part, I think what I'm going to do is take the camera off the stand and give you a more closer in-depth view of what the ventilator components are. So stand by here while I make the switch, the transition. There we go. Okay. So this is a ventilator right over here. This is the Servo U. Right there, and there's another ventilator right over here that I've got on display, and this is the Purton Bennett PB840. All right, so some of the main components that you'll see on your ventilators. Now on the ventilators themselves, typically there's going to be a control panel. Now on this one you really can't see the controls of the ventilation dynamics that you would place on your ventilator to program your ventilator to deliver the gas to the patient because it's a touch screen. So in this device, in this ventilator, it's simply a control unit that has a very powerful computer system inside of it that allows the gas to come out of the machine in a specific way and go to the patient. So you're going to have your screen assembly or something right over here that you would program, and when you turn on you'd see all the different values. On this ventilator you can see some of the ventilator things that you can set with these toggle switches. This one doesn't have it. Anyways, there's going to be a screen that allows you to see all the data and may allow you to do some of the programming. There's going to be the main body where the gas comes out of the ventilator and goes to the patient. Place for software upgrades. You can kind of see it behind here, all those little slots. That's where the upgrades go. So you've got your powering unit right back over here. Now what makes this ventilator run is electricity, so it has to have a power cord. It needs to be plugged into the electrical outlet, and it's also going to have, you see these gas hoses right over here. White's for oxygen, black and white here in Canada and through most of the world is medical air. So you're going to have to hook these up to the station outlets to make them work to the appropriate station outlet, and your cord for the ventilator also needs to be plugged in as well. Now if you have, and most ventilators will have this, a humidifier. Now the humidifier is specifically used to heat the gases as they go to the patient so that you don't have a deepening of the isothermic saturation boundary point inside your lungs. So the gas has to be completely humidified since the gas going into the patient's lungs is not going to have any moisture inside of it. So when it comes out of the ventilator right over here and travels to the patient, it should go through a humidifier prior to going to your patient so that you don't cause any drought of your patient's airways. Okay. Now the next thing you're going to have is the circuit itself. And the circuit is a series of tubings right over here that allows the gas to go from the ventilator through the humidifier, and then follow my finger, the blue cord here, or the blue line, all the way into the patient via the patient Y. Okay? So you can see the patient Y is right here. Why do they call it a Y? Because this looks like a Y. So that's the inspiratory gas limit of the circuit. gas is directed to the patient. Now on exhalation, and this is where the circuits may vary, the gas is exhaled down this hose here. This is the expiratory limb. And it takes the gas from the patient and directs it back through a filter. We've got a filter here to the expiratory valve of the patient, of the ventilator. So the gas travels in one direction to the patient, and then on exhalation the gas travels in another direction from the patient out back to the ventilator, where it's then vented into the atmosphere. Most ventilators will have this expiratory limb, but there might be some ventilators that don't have the expiratory limb. Now some other hardware things about the ventilator. They're usually going to be on a stand, the main body of it. The stand's going to have wheels because they are portable to move from room to room or within the room. And it's really important that when you're using the ventilator, you make sure that you lock the wheels in place. Okay, you lock the wheels in place so that the ventilator doesn't move. Okay. Another couple other things about the features. You can see on this ventilator we've got a water bag. It's a distilled water bag for inhalation only. And the water from here goes through this IV tubing and into the top of the humidifier. Okay, so on the humidifier you've got the humidifier pot that contains the water that's heated up, and then the computer programming unit, or the central processing unit of the humidifier itself. And it's going to be specific to the different types of ventilators that you have out there. And this is a smart humidifier. Now on the back of the unit, not too much. This is where the gas comes out of the unit, right over here, before it goes into the atmosphere. And again, it's filtered before it comes out. And the types of filters you might have on your ventilators could be slightly different from the manufacturers, but also even within the hospitals that you work, again, depending on the severity of your patient and any kind of infectious control procedures or precautions you might have in place. Now on this ventilator, we open up this door. There's a bunch of stuff in here for extra things that you can have come into the ventilator or go out of the ventilator for different types of devices or uses. But the most important thing here is to find where the on-off switch. And the on-off switch is right over here. Okay, so this is the switch that turns it on. You have to pull down and then turn it to the right for this to fire up and to start. Okay. Now one last comment about the different components on the ventilator. This is a support arm right over here, holds the circuit in place. So you can kind of see that the support arm holds the circuit in place right over there. But also with the humidifier. In order for the humidifier to work, you have to make sure that the humidifier is plugged in as well. It has its own power cord for doing that. So when you're plugging the ventilator in to get the power into the unit, you have to plug in the main cord for power. But if you're using the humidifier, and you should be using the humidifier, if you've got a humidifier, you might have to plug in the humidifier cords as well for it to work. All right, so it's a two-step plug-in. Plug in the ventilator, plug in the humidifier. And last but not least, make sure you've got your gas hoses connected to the appropriate station outlets so the ventilator can function. Once you've got all that in, all you simply have to do is turn your ventilator on. And once you've turned it on, do the pre-use check. Once the pre-use check has been set up or has been performed and has passed, then you can use your ventilator. And that's in essence, in general, the different types of components that you'll find on a mechanical ventilator. Many different models, many different manufacturers. Know the specifics of each one that you have. Okay. And that's pretty well it. So if you have any questions, if you like this video, I know I'm not that good at editing. In fact, I don't know how to edit yet, but if you found this video informative, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know how I can improve the video as well. And again, this is just the introduction into the ventilator series that I'm going to have on YouTube. So please look at the other videos as well if they have any kind of interest for you or can help you out in your goals of learning how to operate and use clinically a mechanical ventilator for a patient that requires life support. Take care and have a good day.